Hello everybody, today I wanted to talk with you about choosing sofas. And the reason I wanted to do this is that I see that in my feng shui consultation business, the item that people mostly make a mistake when choosing is the sofa. More than dining room furniture, more than bedroom furniture, it's the sofa that people tend to make lots of mistakes with, right? So the first consideration when choosing a sofa is size. You gotta make sure it fits, right? You gotta look at the space where you're gonna put your sofa in, and you wanna make sure it fits. But a mistake that people make is that they choose a sofa that can only fit in their living room in one way. And so that's a problem, right? Because no matter how perfectly, how expertly, how much feng shui you know, and apply the moment of choosing your sofa and placing your sofa in your living room, you're going to get tired of that arrangement. Sooner or later, you're going to want to change. And if your sofa only fits in your living room in one way, that's going to be a problem. So you got to make sure that you choose a sofa that could fit in at least two positions in your living room. Another consideration when choosing a sofa is style. So for choosing the style, first you have to make a decision whether your room is a room that is mostly for visiting, like a formal living room, or if it's going to be a multi-function room, which would be the family room, where a lot of different activities are going to happen in that room. So in that case, you need to make that decision first and then choose a sofa, right? Because that's going to affect the style. If you have a formal living room, looks is going to be one of the main characteristics in choosing your sofa, because you're going to want to make an impact, right? If you have a formal living room, you want people to come in and go, wow, this is just gorgeous, amazing, this is so elegant, this is so chic. And so choosing the style that you want to have for the room also is going to help you determine the style of the sofa. If you want a more formal outcome, then you're going to have a more formal choice in terms of sofas. Then you have to choose whether your sofa is going to have two surfaces or just one. So some sofas are going to have some wood exposed, like some sofas will have the arms, the top of the back, and the front of the arms and the legs exposed. And other sofas are going to have that same design but metal instead of wood. And then comes the soft part of the sofa, right? The part that we're going to sit, where you're going to lean back on. So you got to choose, and that you got to make a decision in that sense. Then you have to decide if you want angular shapes for your sofa or do you want softer shapes for your sofa. And this depends on how you are going to mostly use the sofa. So what activities are you going to use that sofa for? That should determine what kind of shapes you choose for your sofa, right? And also who lives in your home. So when you have little children, you're probably going to want a more rounded design with everything padded, right? Because children can be so creative in the way they can hurt themselves in the home. And so if you have little children, everything padded, right? And it depends, do you want to sit on the sofa? Do you want to cuddle on the sofa? Do you want to take naps on the sofa? So you have to consider all these things before you choose a sofa. Then comes the practicalities of choosing a sofa, because you have to think about who lives with you, what they're going to do on that sofa, and how it's going to age. So you have children. How are you letting your children jump on beds and sofas? We did, so our family room when the kids were growing up was like a jungle gym. We had to have like really sturdy, rounded, soft sofas. So sturdy and soft at the same time, right? So you have pets. How are the pets going to like the surfaces of your sofa? Are they going to like them too much? So I've had clients that got some natural material for their sofa, like some fabric with a beautiful texture. And that was before they thought they would be adopting a cat. Once they adopted a cat, the cat liked that just too much, right? And so you gotta make sure that you're choosing the material of your sofa, the fabric that covers your sofa, carefully and wisely. It's been like 18 years since I have worn white because I have kids. And my oldest is about to turn 18. But even as I was pregnant, I was spilling things all over my clothes, right? So it's been 18 years I don't wear white, so I would not choose a white or beige sofa for the same reasons. I have two boys, I have a husband, and I have two cats, right? And so if I chose a color of sofa that was too light, that would be setting myself up for misery. You don't want to do that. Don't set yourself up for misery. So when you choose the color, you have to take that into account, right? The color, the material. Then you have to make a choice with the design. Do you want to have a plain color, just one solid color, or do you want to have a pattern? Maybe you want a checkered pattern, or do you want to have like a floral pattern? All these things you have to decide before you go to the store. Because if you haven't at least thought about these things before you get to the store, you are likely to make a mistake. You're going to go to the store, you're going to be wowed by some display in the store, and you're going to be like, oh yeah, that's my sofa, and it may be the completely wrong sofa for your home. You also have to consider the how many people are going to be seated, right? And how many cushions are at the bottom. There are some sofas that have just the one big cushion for everybody to sit on. There's others that have two separations, others three, and others four. And so, how many are in your family? When you sit down to watch movies, how are you going to sit? Is everybody going to be comfortable? So, all these things are going to help you make a good decision. There's one more thing when choosing the fabric of your sofa. If you know that the people in your home are going to be rough on it, there's a classification that goes from 1 to 10 for fabric, and you need to ask, um, I think it's called the rough test. So you need to ask how the fabric on your sofa rates for that, you know. So the maximum is 10. And that means they have this machine that destroys fabric, and they ran the fabric through the machine that is really rough on it. And that number means how many times the fabric was able to go through before it got ripped. And so our previous sofa and love seat that we had in our home had a rating of 9, and it was like a suede, and so it had gone 9 times through the machine before it got ripped, right? And so that was a really good choice for us with two cats and two kids. And so you need to look at that. One mistake that we made, you know, we had this sofa and love seat that were really, really sturdy and really, they could take a lot of abuse, let's put it that way. And what happened over time was I got tired with the color because I was thinking, you know, you have these ideas sometimes of how you want to decorate a place. And I wanted an elegant, subdued earth tones and light colors in my family room, which I thought was a living room. You know, I wanted to decorate it to be really nice, more like a formal living room. But that was naive because I have a family, and this was going to be a multifunctional room. And so the furniture I got was a little too big for our space, and the color was a little too muted for what I decided we needed later on. So we went to the store, and I found another furniture set that looked so much like the previous one we had, but it was a little bit smaller, more compact, and in a better color, a color I like better. And it I did not ask about the fabric, and I thought it was going to be okay, but it wasn't. It felt and it looked like it was the same kind of fabric, but it wasn't, and they didn't last as long. So all are these questions that you need to ask yourself before you buy a sofa. So first, is it for a formal living room or a versatile family room? So, what is the style that you're going for? Are you going to have any wood or metal exposed, or is just going to be the cushiony part of the sofa? Are you going to go for more straight lines or a more rounded design? What are you looking for? What do you like? What kinds of colors are you looking for? So, sometimes you may go to the store and you have not decided on a color, but you should have decided on a color family. Do you want warm tones? Do you want cool tones? And so within the a range that you give yourself in terms of colors, designs, and patterns, that gives you more criteria to make a good choice. A really bad choice for most homes are sectionals. Sectionals usually do not work, they're not good feng shui because you can only put them in the room in one way, and it gives you no room for changing things around. And also, Usually they're so big and bulky that you don't move them enough in order to clean under them. So then you start collecting dust bunnies and allergens. So that's not a good idea for that reason. And so loose pieces, like a sofa and chairs, is better than getting a sectional. These are the things that you need to consider when you're getting a sofa. And always ask yourself before you buy something, how will I clean it? You need to know how it's going to get dirty and how you're going to clean it. Like if you spill something, it's going to seep in, or it's going to have some kind of waterproof protection. You need to look at all these things. And you also need to look at the materials. Like one thing that I look for is I look for natural fabrics usually in everything in my home. When it comes to sofas, though, because I have 2 cats, I have to make some concessions. Now, say for example that you already got a sofa and it's the wrong choice, it's the wrong color for you, or it's the wrong shape. A lot of things can be corrected with throws, sofa covers, and cushions. So sometimes you make a mistake in the choice of the color of the sofa, but by adding the right color in cushions, you correct that color mistake. Or maybe you got a color that went well in your first home or in your previous home, and then you moved, and the way you decorated your new family room or your new living room, the colors don't match, or maybe the walls are a different color. So there's solutions. You can get furniture covers. It used to be that furniture covers were like really, really tacky, but now there is a huge selection in terms of fabrics for furniture covers, and you can actually end up with a sofa that looks much nicer after you cover it than it was originally. And so don't despair if you think that, if you have a sofa, you cannot replace it and you think it's the bad choice for you. There's a lot that you can do just with accessories, such as a furniture cover. One of the things that I recommend is that when there be some kind of connection between your sofa and your rug, your area rug for your living room or family room. So it doesn't mean it has to be the same color, but one color repeats, for example. And I recommend that if you have a solid color sofa, you have a pattern rug. But if you have a sofa and chairs that have a pattern on them, you get a simpler rug for design for your rug, either a solid one color or a plain design, so that it doesn't get too busy, right? And so if you have a plain rug, your sofa should, if it's in different colors, if it's patterned or has more than one color, should reproduce one of the colors in the rug, and vice versa, right? If you have a solid sofa and a rug that has a design, a pattern, then at least one of the colors, or the color in the sofa, should be reproduced in at least one aspect of the design of your rug. It doesn't have to be the whole rug, but maybe it could be the edge or some twirl or swirl or flower on your rug, so that you connect the colors, right? And then when you choose the cushions for your sofa, you can choose another color on your rug for your cushions, and that's how you tie colors together. Remember to also test how it feels before you buy a sofa. Sit on it and make sure it's comfortable, and also consider how comfortable it is going to be for other family members. So ideally, when you go buy a sofa, go with the whole family.